basic formulas that you should be familiar with. The goal today is to be able to rewrite formulas and solve for a given variable. Here we want to solve for h, so that means we want to get h all by itself. So I look at the problem. I'm going to start by multiplying both sides of this equation by 2. So 2a equals, and then 2 times 1/2 is 1, and leaves us with bh. Again, I'm trying to get h by itself, so then I would divide by b to leave the h all alone. So then h equals 2a over b. Okay, the second example, I want to solve for t. So I need to get everything with a t in it on one side, and these are actually, we're going to make these t squareds. Everything with a t in it on one side and everything without a t on the other side. So look at this, this has a t, this has a t, this has a t, so I've already got that much accomplished. The other side only has 15w. So now I have t squared, and t squared. I need to separate the t's from the rest of the terms, so I can factor a t squared out if I put this in parentheses, leaving me with 6 minus r plus 3x squared equals 15w. Then I want to get the t all by itself, so I have t squared times that, so I need to divide by this mess. So I get t squared equals, and I'm dividing by the 6 minus r plus 3x squared on both sides of this equal sign right here. So on this side it would reduce, and then on the other side I'd have 15w over 6 minus r plus 3x squared. Then I want t, not t squared, so the way to get t would then be to square root both sides. But when we square root like this, there's actually two possible answers, the positive and the negative option. So our final answer would be just like that, plus or minus the square root of 15w minus r plus 3x squared. That would be our final answer. The reason that there's two answers is because if you think about, if you have t squared equals 25, there are actually two possible values of t. I can square 5 and get 25, but I can also square negative 5 and get 25. So both positive and negative 5 would be solutions to that. That's why we do the plus or minus right there. So on this one, we want to first solve for y, then we want to plug in 2 for x and get the answer. So the first thing is to solve for y. In other words, get y all alone on one side of the equal sign. So I'm going to subtract 3x, subtract 3x. So you have 2y equals 12 minus 3x. Then I still want y by itself, so the opposite of timesing by 2 is to divide by 2. So y equals 12 minus 3x divided by 2. Or I could distribute that divide by 2 and get y equals 6 minus 3/2 x. At this point, I kind of like this version the best because I want to plug in this x equals 2. So I'm going to get y equals 12 minus 3 times 2 over 2. 3 times 2 is 6. You have to do multiply before you do subtract. 12 minus 6 is 6, so you get 6 over 2, which equals 3. Second example. I want to solve this for y again, so I want to get y by itself. So the first thing I'm going to do is subtract 4x from both sides. So I get negative xy equals 28 minus 4x. Then I'm still trying to get y alone, so I'm going to divide by negative x. So that gives me, if I come up here with that, that gives me y equals 28 minus 4x over negative x, which could also be rewritten if I distributed that negative x as, if I did negative 4x over negative x, that would be positive 4. And then if I did 28 over negative x, that'd be minus 28 over x. And this is actually the easiest version to plug our x value of 2 into. So y equals 4 minus 28 divided by 2. 28 divided by 2 is 14. So 4 minus 14 gives us a final answer of negative 10. Okay, our next example, right here, we were solving this equation for y. So I looked to find all the terms with y. I want to get them all gathered up together. So I'm going to bring this value over here. So I'm going to add 4y. And I want to remove the values that don't have a y to the right-hand side. So I'm going to add a 14x. So now negative 14x and positive 14x, 0. Negative 8y and positive 4y, negative 4y. Negative 10x and positive 14x is 4x. And then you have that 16 right there. Negative 4y and positive 4y, 0. Now divide by negative 4. So y equals 4x divided by negative 4 is negative x. 16 divided by 4 is negative 4 So negative x minus 4. Then it says to evaluate with x equals 3. So then negative, and then I put in 3 for the x, and minus 4. Negative 3 minus 4 is negative 7. Now understand, this is part of the answer. You have to have this solution and then plug the 3 in, because we're learning to solve for a single variable. If you want to check if you did this part right, you could go back to the beginning and put 3 in and resolve. But then again, that would be quite a bit of work. Last example. Solve this for y. So I need to get all my y's on one side. So I'm going to subtract 2y, And I want to move all of the terms without a y to the right-hand side. So I'm going to add 4. So I get 6xy minus 2y. We can't add those together because this has xy and this just has y. And then over here, we have 2y minus 2y is 0, and then 3x plus 4. So then over here, what we need to do, we have these two different terms. We need to separate the y out. So we're going to factor that y out. Think of that in parentheses and distribute the y out and get 6x minus 2 equals 3x plus 4. Then I can divide both sides by that 6x minus 2, giving me y equals 3x plus 4 divided by 6x minus 2. And that would be my final answer on that one.